Most of the summer, Iowa corn grows in solitude in fields along lonely county roads under the hot summer sun. That's most of the time, except for 1 week in July when those county roads come alive.
Good morning!
It's time for Ragbrai, Des Moines Register's annual Great Bicycle Ride across Iowa. Between 8,000 and 10,000 cyclists, nobody knows for sure how many, descend on the state from all over the country, from all over the world, to ride border to border across Iowa, to see the sights, to enjoy Iowa hospitality. 1989 marked the 17th year for the ride. Join us now for the 479 miles from Glenwood to Bellevue, with all the fun in between. It's time to leave on Ragbrai 17.
It's in here somewhere.
Ragbrai 17 began in Glenwood, a town of 5,300 people in western Iowa, a town which more than doubled in size for this July night, which many spent partying, only to pay the price the next morning.
How'd you guys sleep last night?
Oh, seldom.
I want to wish all of you a good trip today, and I hope you have a fine week and good weather all the way through your trip.
I hope we all have a very safe ride, and I know everyone's going to have a lot of fun.
We never ride together. I can't stand him, that's why. He tries to ride the hills too fast. I don't like it.
I have a hard time riding it slowly.
Ragbrai has developed traditions over the years. Dipping your rear wheel in the Missouri River on the first day is one of them, for those riders who literally want to go river to river.
Something symbolic about hitting the river and Missouri River on the west side, and then 7 days from now we'll be dipping in the Mississippi on the east side.
You don't want to bypass a tradition then?
No. It's, I think symbolism is important for this type of ride.
That's what the mosquitoes are like at the Missouri River.
Morning. Fine.
It was a long first day, as first days go on Ragbrai, 66 miles through the rolling hills of southwest Iowa. It was a quiet day, too, as many riders enjoyed the Iowa countryside, muted by dew and an early morning fog. Not even the hills could spoil the beauty.
Hills aren't too much for you?
It's a little harder on tandem.
Is it?
But it's still fun. Love
Who's doing more work?
I am.
I'll argue that point. A lot of people lied to me. There's more hills here than I thought. And you thought I was? Yeah.
Oh.
How was it?
Oh, hard. Great.
The water spray in Shenandoah cooled off hot bikers heading down the home stretch for the first overnight stop in Clarinda, which welcomed bikers with an archway and a chance for some much-needed R&R. Clarinda, population 5,400, is band leader Glenn Miller's hometown. Sunday night, it didn't take long for the music to cut loose. Day 2, 60 miles north to Atlantic. A beautiful day, but trouble lurked on the way. Nails, hundreds, maybe thousands, scattered on the route by vandals outside of Clarinda caught the riders by surprise. Repair crews were busy with flat tires all day. Bill Van Wyck of New York was among those victimized.
Picked up a nail back in the gravel, I guess. And they stopped, and the repair van stopped it and put a new tube on, and I went half a mile, and I had another flat tire.
Another nail?
Another nail. And these guys stopped, and they put another new tube on. So, making it a long day.
We met some early bikers that advised us that there were some nails on the roadway itself. So in doing some closer checking, we found the nails. Matter of fact, I found 2 of them in my right rear tire.
That's only the second time in all the history of Ragbrai that somebody's really done something like that. It's a shame that somebody would treat the people this way.
But the nails were soon forgotten as bikers made pit stops in Lewis, where visitors signed the wall at Poor Dad's, and in Griswold, which proved to be a popular lunch stop.
The Lions Club has funnel cakes this morning, if you like funnel cakes. The young businessmen have pork sandwiches and sweet corn, the best from the state of Iowa. The Child Psychology Club has hot dogs and homemade bars, and there's a donkey booth on the southwest corner of the park. Right now, you can hear me again or again. Back to Florida.
Up ahead near Atlantic, some riders were getting special treatment.
The usual VIP stuff they have for whoever's riding, we decided we'd pick our own. And as of now, you are an official VIP.
Very good. The Atlantic Chamber decided to pick several dozen riders at random to be town VIPs for the day.
This is super. I read about this and I thought, oh, wouldn't that be great to be chosen? This is terrific.
The guests arrived at Dee and Harold Hankey's place by local limousine for free drinks and dinner.
There's nothing for something in this world. What's the catch?
It's the kind of Iowa hospitality I've come to expect on Ragbrai, and it's really a great deal of fun. We're having a nice time. It's a good dinner, too.
We've had so many very nice comments from the riders saying that they were delighted to be included in something like this. That's good.
The party wasn't the only special event happening in Atlanta. "24-year-old Kim Eggleston of Cedar Rapids and 33-year-old Mike Albers of Anamosa met on Ragbrai 16, got engaged a few months later, and decided to have their wedding on this year's ride. Judge L. Vern Robinson of Iowa City, a fellow rider, presided.
By the authority vested in me by the state of Iowa, I do now pronounce you husband and wife.
The Atlantic Chamber of Commerce provided the cake, champagne, and just about everything else a newlywed couple could want, all with a Ragbrai theme.
But you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two.
And if the riders didn't have enough of riding that day, Atlantic staged a 16-lap race through city streets. Day 3 dawned, another 75 miles north and east as the thousands of riders head for the next stop. Some natives didn't even notice, but not all the hogs stayed behind.
One thing about it, there are hardly any strange people on this ride.
If not strange, certainly interesting, like Santa and Rudolph, who are really from Ames, Iowa, not the North Pole, today distributing Christmas cheer in July in Brayton. Or the teacher from Florida, enticing riders to her home state with little bags of Florida sand.
I'd like to give you some of our sugar white sand from Destin, Florida. Have you ever seen beach sand before? Have you ever been to the beach? Well, this is sand from the beach, from the Gulf of Mexico. Thank you. You're more than welcome.
There are whistles, turtles,
Turtle juice.
and favorite bear.
Ah, T-Bear. He's a tender-loving Care Bear. He's made for hugs. Yeah.
Luckily, there were no bears in Bayard, just some cattle beckoning the Ragbrai riders to take a chance, though some weren't sure exactly how the game is played.
You see, they got little squares marked off up there, and they got, after, when they get these all sold, they'll turn a calf out in there and work in plasters. That's the winner of the $500.
Next stop, Jefferson, home of the famous Mahaney Bell Tower rising from the courthouse lawn. The tower gave riders and residents a great view of this overnight stop.
Dig in, boy.
Oh, man, all right.
This Jefferson church and many others offered riders a tasty opportunity to carbo load. For riders knew what lay ahead as Day 4 got underway, the hill. The hill, a twisting, mile-long monster, took riders into the Des Moines River Valley outside of Pilot Mound. It tested, and in some cases bested, the Ragbreiers. It wasn't so bad going down. But coming up, that's another story. And speaking of stories, some riders had some good ones.
No, it wasn't any problem at all. Yeah, it was a long hill.
I could have. I was just walking, saving my knees.
Well, I stopped to take a picture.
That's a good excuse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I told my wife.
Wouldn't want to wear my bicycle out. You're walking instead of riding. What happened?
Oh, my shoelace got caught in the chain.
It was just great. It's not that... Well, it's bad. But it's not that bad. Well, it's bad. But it's not that... Well, I think it's bad.
Back at the bottom of the hill, many riders soothed their aches and pains in the refreshing waters of the Des Moines River. And if riders were looking for someone to blame...
This was Karis's part of the route. Tomorrow the flats are mine.
For now, it's time to pedal the last few miles to this night's stop, Story City, where the day's theme of pain continued with an impromptu belly flop contest in the city pool. The Scandinavian community of Story City opened its historic carousel to riders from the Des Moines Register's annual event, and many who spent the day on bikes took a turn on a saddle of a different kind. If you finished on the carousel, you had time to browse through all kinds of merchandise available to Ragbreiers at every stop. Everything from gloves to caps, posters to bike repairs, and of course the ever-popular T-shirt. What are you looking for?
Just souvenirs.
Anything in particular?
Something different, and I think we found it. Ragbrai Man,
What's
the story
that
of
all about?
Ragbrai Man.
Who's that masked man? It's Ragbrai Man. 479 miles later in Bellevue, to be continued.
And if riding or shopping or encountering Ragbrai Man wasn't enough today, Debbie Walls of Indianapolis found the energy for a round of golf on the Story City links.
This is the first time I've played golf in about 8 to 10 years, and I shot fairly well for having not played in that long.
Are you tired now?
No, go out and party now.
Day 5, and it's 86 miles to Cedar Falls, but for 300 bike riders, a special treat lies ahead. The Randall Arts Council hosted a formal breakfast al fresco in the city park, featuring Belgian waffles, champagne sherbet, and valet parking for bicycles.
What, Team Nooners?
Yeah. Team Nooners, there we go.
Okay.
And there's 20 of you here. All right, there we go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm with them.
You also, I can tell because of the tie.
Yes.
Yeah.
We both shop at the same fine store.
I thought this was a great touch for the entire ride. I wish the whole day could be like this. Matter of fact, I'm going to forgo riding and stay and listen to the piano music, I think.
More adventures are up ahead through Wellsburg and the Century Loop, where Ragbreiers can decide to ride 100 miles if they really want to.
This is wonderful. I mean, headwinds and craziness.
And in Iowa, you always have a place along the way to make a pit stop if you dare.
Porta potties just up the road. Stay out of the cornfields, ladies.
Soon, the next overnight stop loomed into view. Cedar Falls on the University of Northern Iowa campus with its domed stadium known as the Unidome. As temperatures soared, the dome provided riders with a cool place to eat, be entertained, or just collapse. Most Ragbreiers felt right at home inside the dome, but outside, as the sun began to set, Ragbrai and art were about to intersect. Days earlier, workers erected 144 white tent-like structures to provide shade and shelter for Ragbrai campers. Tonight, it came alive to form what its creators hoped would be the world's largest neon sculpture called Square Wave Airy Perennials. Near the top of each tent support, a diamond-shaped light, all connected to a computerized lighting panel generating a colorful light show.
What do you think of the lights here tonight?
They're pretty great. I like them a lot. They're bright. I was really shocked at first. Kind of makes you a little dizzy at first, but you get used to them real fast. I guess ours is on. We had it off for a while, but I think we'll leave it on since it costs $50,000.
Well, it's sort of like sleeping on a Bud Light sign. I mean,
I'm ecstatic. I think it's great. It's just, I couldn't have been better. Each one of the units they're discovering has a pull chain on it to turn it off. So we've slowed all the lights down, and I think it's slowing everybody else down. And I notice out there's some black holes, so some people are going to bed. Later on, if you see any more flashing, it's probably where the party is.
Sleep well, you Ragbreiers, for on day 6, the gods of wind will turn against you. Riders faced headwinds most all the 76 miles to Dyersville. Manchester was a good place to stop and complain.
It was the worst of the days because of the wind. I mean, I would have rather had it snow than the wind we had to face throughout the day. But, fortunately, there's a lot of towns, a lot of beer and, pizza along the way to keep the spirit high.
The headwind? It was pretty tough. We started at like 6:30 and we just got here. So it's been pretty bad.
Outside of Manchester, another good place to stop and rest from those headwinds, the Domeyer Farm. It's typical of the many rest stops along the Ragbrai route. The ingredients, home-baked cookies, a water jug, and some friendly Iowans. Blend with hungry, thirsty, and sore Ragbrai riders, and you've created a great place to spend a few minutes recharging for the next leg of the trip. It's fun for the Domeyers, too.
It just started out to be a project for the kids to make a little money to go to Adventureland.
What do you think so far? Has it been a pretty good business?
We got a really good turnout. It started out kind of slow, and the kids got kind of discouraged. And then one of the men said, well, he said, your first riders are your diehards, they'll go right on through. But he said, you'll have more people to stop it, and it's been real busy. The last 2 or 3 hours has been just like this, real steady. The kids, I've really enjoyed it myself, so it has been fun.
Ride is fun, too, if you're on a team, and there were plenty of teams this year. There's Team Skin, Team Skunk, Team No Sag, then there's Team Cockroach.
It may be slower, but nobody's lower than Team Cockroach.
And no one whinier than the Michigan's whiner.
And then you serve hot pizza. It burns your fingers. You wait a half an hour in line. Then you get hot pizza. You can't even eat it.
Hot pizza?
Hi, this is Opal.
Give it to the lunch ladies from Kentucky.
I don't know if you ever noticed, but a lot of lunch ladies are overweight. And we aspire to be built much like lunch ladies. We're getting the arms in shape. It's going to take a few more pizzas.
We are beavers! We are cyclists! We are beavers all! So let's get down and do the beaver call!
And then there's Team Rage. And Team Gumby.
This is what Gumby Land is all about. Whoa, whoa.
He'd be right at home with Club Tubbers and their Cadillac Whirlpool. And bringing up the rear, the Rogues, who like to travel at the end of the day. Finally, if you can't think of a name, too bad, that's already taken too.
There you go.
Outside of Dyersville, our final overnight stop, there's a baseball field. The field wasn't on the route, but it drew Ragbreiers just the same. It's a magical place. Perhaps it looks familiar.
I have just created something totally illogical.
Daddy, there's a man out there on your lawn. Are you a ghost?
What do you think?
You look real to me.
Hi.
You couldn't see it.
This is really interesting.
You build a baseball field in the middle of nowhere, and you sit here and you stare at nothing.
Hey, is this heaven?
No. It's Iowa.
The movie Field of Dreams was filmed here in 1988, and the farm's owner opened the location for the Des Moines Register's bike riders seeking to capture a little of the magic for themselves.
Well, the movie itself was so inspiring. It was just fun to be part of this and come out here.
Well, I saw the movie and I loved the movie. And actually, I got done with my ride early today because I quit at the 40-mile mark. So we had time to come out and took the shuttle out, and we were really happy that, you know, we had the chance to see it.
Oh, that's it.
I haven't even seen the movie yet, and I'm buying a T-shirt. I'm from Minneapolis, and they interviewed him in the paper, and I used to live in Iowa, so I thought I'd better get a T-shirt in case I see the movie, so I'll always say I've been there, right?
We're going to go and walk out in the cornfield and see if we can find Shoeless Joe.
And then we'll disappear.
Is this heaven?
No, this is Iowa.
Day 7, the final 64 miles to Bellevue and the Mississippi River through northeast Iowa.
Describe today's ride. It's cold, it's windy, and it's hilly. What else do you need to know?
But the conditions didn't really matter that day. The Register's annual Great Bike Riders were anxious to finish their 479-mile odyssey, though many had mixed feelings.
No, ready for it to be over, but not happy. I could go longer.
I'm ready for my own bed and my own shower and no waiting lines.
Maybe some riders worried about ending up like this biker in Andrew, and so at last the red carpet welcome in Bellevue, where it didn't matter how you finished, just that you reached your goal. 479 miles earlier, these riders dipped their tires in the Missouri River. Now it's the Mississippi's turn. A trip to remember, a trip to celebrate.
It was hilly and it was windy, but we're here. And I'm junking my tire. And I'm not going to get on my bike again for another 3 months.
3 months? That's plenty of time to rest up for Ragbrai 18.
Can you wait at it?
Right down in amongst the hole.
You guys ever gonna get on that bicycle?
like there, here like there, like everywhere, like Mike, old MacDonald at a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some. E-I-E-I-O. Howard is good, Howard is yes, good, there. Old MacDonald at a farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm he had some. Shower, E-I-E-I-O. It's always cold. It's cold.
Here, there.
Everywhere on the farm. E-I-E-I-O.
And on that farm, he had some sheep.
E-I-E-I-O.
With
Here, old MacDonald at a farm. E-I-E-I-O. Okay, great boss fire. You shake my blood and around my shades. You rise loud as a man insane. Oh, what a thrill! You broke my will. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire! You shake my balls and you rattle my chains. You must have loved as a man insane. You broke my will. Oh, what a thrill! Goodness gracious, great balls of fire! Hi, Dad.
Yahoo, Scott!